What is up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. If you want daily crypto news, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. First things first, we have Ripple right here on the World Economic Forum's website. Why am I showing this? Well, they're one of the few blockchain-based companies that are regularly in attendance, just like Cardano. I'm sure many of you are familiar with them, with their crypto asset ADA. So, we do know that Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, is on the actual future Global Crypto Council on the World Economic Forum's website as well, alongside with Danelle Dixon of Stellar, and then even Catherine Coley, who is CEO of Binance.us. She was formerly a Ripple employee as well. So very interesting nonetheless. I know that there is tons of FUD in this market going on with the current SEC lawsuit and the allegations with Ripple. We are absolutely going to be watching those and excited for what's to come, at least in February, for additional clarity and hopefully progress. So I want to speed through a few points in this video. Overall, I just want to make a huge point, guys, that DeFi is on the rise. Of course, we had the huge bubble in August, September. We saw many crypto assets surpassing, some old highs that they haven't hit since 2018. And then recently now, thanks to Bitcoin going to 40K, we're seeing many of those assets getting that pop and push up again. So I want to share a few quotes that I think are very insightful and some predictions from even Ripple employees for the future of DeFi as well. Also, I want to talk about Singapore. I want to talk about the potential new CFTC chairman. Just so many things, guys, coming from all angles. All right, so let's get into it. I'll try to keep this video short and sweet, and be sure to stick around until the end. So first things first, guys, shared by DJ Peter Voss, employees of a tech firm, and I know that we're familiar with this tech firm specifically, is providing assistance to U.S. securities. They can now be paid in cryptocurrency. Funny enough, we've been saying this for a good 2 years that this is happening, and now it is happening. A lot slower than I anticipated, but nonetheless a sure sign that adoption is coming, the barriers to entry are lowering, and as we can see right here, Sequoia Holdings, an employee-owned, award-winning company providing high-end software and engineering services centered on collection, analytics, collaboration, sharing of data, blah, 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 is allowing employees with options to receive some of their portions of their salary in cryptos like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ether. Interesting. Now, my question, and I love this because, lowering the barrier to entry and showing the options, but why did they do it when Bitcoin's well past all-time high? Why didn't they offer this option back in March 2020 when everything was down, massive discounts? Why? Because they sell it to us retailers at a premium time and time again. So now they're offering this option, get everybody in the market later on after they already had their bags fat at the bottom. And this is just an example. I'm not saying Sequoia is doing this per se. What I'm saying is, the big boys, the whales, were, well ahead of the curve in this case. So right here we can see many of our employees are enthusiastic supporters of cryptocurrency, and we are happy to help them gain exposure to this trillion-dollar asset class. Cryptocurrency has emerged as an important alternative to traditional investments like stocks and bonds. Now, I love this, and I specifically like this. We're happy to help them gain exposure to this trillion-dollar asset class. Guys, this is further validation that this asset class is here to stay. Is, many venture capitalists say, once an asset surpasses even $1 billion market capitalization, it's typically here to stay. And obviously, this global crypto market cap has surpassed $1 trillion. Will it go, in my opinion, to $50 or even $100 trillion? Yes, and if you think that's a joke and you think this market is merely a bubble, you have something coming, because this asset class is going to swallow all others. It will not just be XRP, but I believe XRP has a chance to get a massive slice of this pie. And I know people, oh, Kevin, but we've been stuck in this 30-cent range for years, or 20 cents or 50 cents. Yes, and we are still in a largely speculative market. Remember, when in doubt, zoom out. You can look at the fib extensions. You can do whatever you want. Just understand, speculation will always be in this market, and it is a good thing. My argument and stance is that as these cryptos, the ones that actually have sound tokenomics and appreciate in value with utility, are grown and utility starts driving this market more, the market will not only go higher, but the prices will be a lot more sustainable. So I know, we're just talking in circles and every day it's the same old thing. I'm right there with you. I'm sick of waiting, but I am not getting out after seeing all of this. And why do you think the XRP community is so strong? Because we've seen all we need to see. We've spoken to all we've needed to spoken to, and now it is just a matter of time and waiting. And I'm not going to be, shook out by the typical FUD that I've seen in 2017, or even go back to the dot-com bubble when we saw the highest levels of institutional accumulation. When what was on the news, and literally you can go back to the 2000s and look at the articles saying stay away from Apple and Amazon internet companies, the stocks are too volatile. Volatility is where I make my money and where the opportunity lies. That is not supposed to have a negative connotation, but that's what they feed people. They use complex jargon and all these weird terms to intimidate you, to make you feel dumb. But in reality, this market is open source and we have the ability to change the game. So please, whether you believe me or not, just do your own research and do not be too quick to give up. All right? So just wanted to share that. So let's get into some of the information here today. We have Bank XRP, guys. Be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. We can see Ripple partner Neum, and they are a longtime partner all the way, and they were founded back in 2014, and we've seen them on Ripple Insights giving testimonials to RippleNet, and we're going to speed through that as well. They look to book $6 billion in transactions by Q2 2021. So what I want to talk about is this is really focused on Singapore in particular, a country that is an absolute leader in tandem with many others like Japan in the future of crypto assets and DLT and, payments and just technology, evolution, so to speak. So we have to pay attention to this and remember, on-demand liquidity has done roughly $2 billion overall. That means via XRP, real, live, financial institutions have used it in their transaction flows to solve real problems. Not for fun, not me and you, not grandma buying XRP, real, live, institutional adoption. Oh, well, if that's the case, Kevin, why isn't it higher? Because we are still, again, if you've been paying attention for the past few years, waiting for regulatory clarity. Not more rules and not more guidelines, specific what you can and cannot do so that institutions, investors are well aware of, what can and cannot happen so that they can finally get their feet wet. And that is what we're waiting for. Now, in the dot-com bubble, if you're aware of the history, and I like to look back because remember, history doesn't, always repeat, but it often does rhyme. What happened? The US was a leader in the dot-com bubble. Why? Because they had clear regulatory frameworks. Now, we are seeming to lag behind massively. I don't know if there's just a bunch of old timers in this space that are refusing to change or what this means, but this is happening with or without the US, and this is why I'm so confident in XRP as a digital asset. I know looking at the same price every day is taxing, it's tiring, but those that hold are going to be legends in my book, all right? So, right here, Singaporean fintech firm Neum looks to book $6 billion in transactions by Q4 2021. Now, it's all good and great. As I say, I pay attention to RippleNet partners scaling. And we do remember this gentleman, Prajit, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He shows it in the video as well. But something to note, so this is all good and great, but there's also some bad in terms of cash flow. And I'm not saying this is Ripple at all. It's just a typical company. But we can see he refused to comment, and it was overshadowed by Neum's $25 million losses after taxes, owing to ballooning expenses, maybe scaling too soon. I'm not really sure, but nonetheless, Ripple has helped them scale in a massive way. This is just something I wanted to point out to show you, it's not all smooth sailing for every single group. We know that Vertex is a major investor, alongside with Visa, BRI Ventures, who we're familiar with, Rocket Internet, etc. So just wanted to point that out. And now I want to show you what their commentary for RippleNet as a partner was. So notice here, Neum, you can go to neum.com. They are a perfect partner. And we're talking FIs, e-commerce, money service businesses, marketplaces, etc. Truly the perfect partner to team up with and allow them to deepen their access to liquidity in a variety of regions. Now in these video clips, I'm sure you've seen them many times, we have the gentleman, the same one in that, Mr. Prajit, and he literally just goes on to say how much Ripple has helped them even accumulate partners in the Latin American region. Remember, I believe they're out of Singapore. So deepening access to liquidity in an entirely different country with a huge unbanked and underbanked population and mobile phones on the rise is an absolute no-brainer. That is something we have to pay attention to. Now, let me just show you these quick clips, guys. I'll probably talk over them a little bit, but keep in mind, this is just one example. So even a quote, through Neum's use of Ripple in the Philippines and Mexico corridors, we've been able to eliminate pre-funding requirements, guys, and offer faster remittance at lower cost. What do you think the competitors are going to do? Western Union and many others that have held a monopoly over this ecosystem. This is leveling the playing field on a daily basis, and this is just one angle. And yes, I'm going to be talking more decentralized finance and DeFi in the future because it is obviously a massive opportunity, and I'm excited to watch what Mickey B. Fresh in the XRP community will be posting, as I'm always learning as well. It's really cool because he's always updating himself, even with knowledge that I thought was still viable, 3 months ago, but then he's saying, oh, the blog was updated. So I'm great that we have so many people to bounce knowledge off in this community. And, just going in a tandem with DeFi. A few quotes, and be sure to stick around until the end of this video so you guys get all of this. We know that Ripple's head of DeFi, decentralized finance, they're taking part in this. Same with Flare. Flare Networks is potentially going to be one of the biggest things that we've ever seen for the XRP ledger. Now, Ripple as a head of DeFi, Ripple funded Flare Networks as well. So there's all kinds of vested interests in this ecosystem to see the success of XRP, the digital asset. All right? So Ripple's head of DeFi, Michael Zachowski, and I'm reading this from the article, anticipates that the truly useful projects will grow their user base as early projects consolidate, get acquired, or shut down altogether. Zachowski further predicts that Ethereum's market share in the decentralized finance space will fall this year. I believe at least 25% of the value deployed in DeFi by the end of 2021 will be on networks other than Ethereum. Well, funny enough, we are seeing all kinds of projects take place. Of course, Spark, and I'm excited for that airdrop and the distribution to take place for those of you that have participated. I'm excited for also other projects like Polkadot. And I've been paying a very close attention to them since, August. And I know I was still relatively late, but if you look at that, it's done, another 400, 500% in returns. And Ashish Birla, general manager of Ripple's institutional payment providers network, RippleNet, goes on to explain, the status quo that traditional financial institutions are going to face a growing threat from fintechs and cryptocurrency firms. This is happening, and then he goes on to quote, "The tide is turning. It's possible that we could even see a fintech or crypto company acquire a traditional financial institution this coming year." Now, I think words mean things. I think there's always NDAs. I don't want to over-speculate, but I think that will absolutely be the case. Will Ripple acquire someone? Very possible. All right? So I want to show you a few clips here, and then we're going to keep going, guys. Just overall, even the new administration, and I'm not political, I have no preferences on this channel, guys, but we have to look at the CFTC, the OCC. Now we think Michael Barr is one of the, nominations to lead the Treasury, to lead the US banking system, like Brian Brooks. He was formerly a Ripple board member. Then we have, Chris Brummer on stage with Brad Garlinghouse a year or 2 years ago, I think, and we'll go over that as well. And now he is potentially going to be the chairman for the CFTC, another regulator. And funny enough, one of the former CFTC chairmen, Christopher Giancarlo, is also advising Ripple and is a part of the law firm that represents Ripple. Do you see how everything is so connected? We can talk about the SEC's connections as well, on and on and on. So nonetheless, now it could be dangerous to think like this, full disclosure. I think that we will get out of this relatively unscathed. I'm not going to be selling XRP at a loss. That is my personal choice. I've seen too much. I'm going to be accumulating any, chance I get, dollar cost averaging across the board in a variety of assets. And I did not come this far to come this far. All right. So I want to show you a few clips here and then we'll keep going.
And if your son calls you up at midnight, say Singapore time, and says that, hey, I'm in trouble and I need some money immediately, the only way for you is to go and send cash today, right? So that means you need to go out of your house, go and find a cash location, give cash, call your son, give him a number, he goes to a cash out location, takes the number and gets the cash out. But if you need it immediately through a bank, it's not possible. So what we've been working with banks to make this payment system real time. So for example, if your kid calls you up and says that, hey, I need money immediately, you just go onto your mobile app, 3 clicks, send, and within few minutes, the money is already in his bank account. And that's a great service point for a bank. It enables them to acquire more customers. And that's what banks want, right? They want to acquire more customers, grow their business. And by connecting to RippleNet, it actually definitely is a.
And also, just to note, fintechs like RippleNet are a lot more versatile and faster, so they can do this and acquire customers a lot better than a dinosaur bank can. We're aware of the trends, guys. Digitization, cross-border payments. We understand even the BIS and the Innovation Hub, the World Economic Forum, on their agenda this week, talking about digital currencies. It's happening whether you like it or not, and I am surely not going to let it happen without me.
Strong point.
I also wanted to show you this other clip right here.
Majority of the payment service providers. So about 60% of our business is financial institutions. So financial institutions includes banks, payment processors, other payment services providers, money services business, etc. Then the 40% of our businesses also includes people such as marketplaces, travel tech companies, hotel booking sites, etc. So the key aspect what we try to solve for them is 2 aspects of payments. Is how to send money fast as possible and at the lowest possible cost. Fast forward 2019, we are now accessible in about 35 countries. We send payments to about 55 countries. I think RippleNet actually really helps us globalize much faster. I think a great example is one of the customers which we've got, say BTEC, for example. BTEC is a customer in Brazil who uses us to process payments into quite a few markets across the globe. We would have never met BTEC if it was not for RippleNet, right? Because we were actually solving a problem, but we did not have a sales force in Latin America acquiring clients for us. So that was actually done by RippleNet. So I think what RippleNet really helps us do is go to markets which we are not present, help us really articulate a solution, etc., much better than what we could do. So I think RippleNet is a very strong partnership where we are seeing scaling happening much faster on RippleNet than actually acquiring customers directly.
Keep in mind, a lot has changed in the past 2 years as well, so just wanted to point that out. All right, so we went through Neum. Now right here, guys, Chris Brummer said to be Biden's CFTC chair, crypto-friendly. Tarbert steps down. So we're well aware of this. We do remember when he was on stage with Brad Garlinghouse, also with Jay Clayton, and just pointing that out, nonetheless interesting. Now we can see right here, so we have Brummer would join CFTC chairman Gary Gensler, who is Biden's nominee to chair the SEC specifically, and that's still speculation, but we've heard Gary Gensler, MIT professor years ago. I was actually chatting with some people that were former students of him as well, so super small world. And then we also have Michael Barr, former Ripple, board member, potentially going to be part of the OCC. So if we had Brummer, CFTC, Gary Gensler, SEC, and he's Gary Gensler back in the day called Ethereum and XRP, non-compliant securities, but then he went on to explain and also called XRP a bridge asset. Now keep in mind that was 2018. A lot has changed. The decentralization of the ledger, decentralization of the holdings, a lot has changed. So I'm personally not worried one bit. But again, I know a lot of people, even a lot of viewers, are freaking out, and that is completely up to you guys. I just encourage you to keep doing your own research and try not to act out of emotion as well. All right, so went over that, talked about them. So we'll be watching those three regulators. We can talk about the DOJ. We can talk about FinCEN. There's just so many connections to Ripple. I encourage you guys to go back to the timeline. And I'm not saying that, everything from 2014 or 2017 has to be true or has to be a sign that, everything's going to be fine. What I'm saying is there's a lot of coincidences in the space, guys, and I don't think that they are all coincidental. All right, also, so Chris Brummer, you guys remember this, he was speaking on stage with Ryan Zagone of Ripple when he was there. Also, Mr. Sarbai kick off the new fintechpolicy.org with 2 case studies on pathways to cross-border regulation of crypto asset regulation. So November 2018, talking about crypto asset regulation with one of the gentlemen that may be the new CFTC chairman. Small world. Yes, and this is just one of the reasons. And also, going back, Ripple meeting with the SEC on public calendars, and even David Short saying in 2019, we've been meeting with them for the last several years on almost a weekly basis. I think all the world's a stage. I think that we're in for some very, very exciting months ahead as well. Some of which may be some great opportunities for us all, and others may just see it as a bad thing. Again, I just want to emphasize, you cannot teach someone that is not willing to put in the work that you have. If you think success comes easy or comes without failures, you might as well just turn back now in this space. I know a lot of people came here looking for overnight, millionaire type of things. But now, you come in here and you get the X-Files. And I think I'm beyond excited because there is so much opportunity ahead. Do not be fooled by the days when the markets go down or we're just stuck waiting. Stick to the research, and when in doubt, zoom out. Or you could potentially be missing one of the biggest transfers of wealth that I think we've ever witnessed. Keep in mind, people, even kids, sometimes even older people, wanting easy money in this market. They come and go. They've, made all those mistakes, bad trades, FOMOing, selling early to chase projects, buying back out of fear, all of that. And the ones that make those mistakes, like me, early on, we're talking years ago, are best set up to succeed later if they actually apply what they learn. Those that act out of emotion, they'll get mad, they lost money, they leave, they don't come back. My advice, fail fast and know this market is here to change the absolute game. All right? Just wanted to share that. Talked about this, CFTC chair steps down, Brummer, etc. Also, another thing, Mbiagi just sharing cross-border CBDC DLT projects planned by the central bank's innovation hub. We know Mr. Benoit, of course, his obvious connections, liquidity management with some of the biggest central banks in the world. Go look him up on even Wikipedia and you just see his background specifically. All right, just wanted to point that out. So right here, guys, the Davos Forum 2021, the Great Reset after the pandemic. I just want to speed through a few points, guys, and a lot to pay attention to here. Now, I think words mean things. This is global, talking about digital currencies as well, talking about net zero and sustainable development goals. And funny enough, we do know, Ripple as well is one of the many groups, and the XRP Ledger Foundation is teamed up with who? Energy Web Token, which is arguably another behemoth that many people are sleeping on. The crypto asset is EWT. I've only ever purchased it off of KuCoin, and I do sometimes regularly trade EWT as well. A very, very great project. And again, they have decarbonization goals for the next 5 to 10 years. So they're one of the projects like XRP and EWT working on what some of the most powerful people in the world are looking for. So I think words mean things. I think that it is very evident that proof of work does not work and will not work long term. If proof of work was here to stay, Ethereum would have been able to stay there, but now they're working on, going entirely to proof of stake. Why? Exactly. The energy consumption makes no sense. Proof of work does not work. There's been double spending issues in the past, and it just recently happened as well. So there's no contesting that. I like Bitcoin and everything it stands for. I really do. All I'm saying is do not diss XRP because it's actually solving a real problem in the world of payments. Okay? So I encourage you guys to read this. I'm going to speed through this, but notice, the next half in May, it's going to actually occur in Singapore, interestingly enough. What I don't like is, this in 2022, the forum expects to be able to convene again face to face in Davos, Switzerland. It just, I don't know, it's just so silly with all this stuff. It just kind of bugs me, frankly. A lot of small businesses that got crushed, where I witnessed it, at least in the United States during all of this, while the big business takes over. We get used to this digitalization, staying home, remote. Technology has gone up and, voice and data and all of that, but at what cost is really my concern. So I'm sure everybody has an opinion about that. Just kind of ranting there. All right. Talking about the sustainable developments, harnessing. Remember Moby, as I go over time and time again as well with many crypto assets, Q&T, Fetch, a plethora of them. All right. Also, just right here, guys, we have the Global Future Council on Crypto. Funny enough, Brad Garlinghouse, Catherine Coley, Danelle Dixon, and many other people that are representing. Look, Joseph Lubin. He's been on stage with Brad many times. I've shown you that funny video clip in the past. Many people from Visa, BBVA, some of the biggest banks and payment providers in the world. Even gentlemen in the UAE region. We know that Ripple's new regional headquarters is in Dubai. And yes, they have a plethora. We're talking thousands of potential new customers there. And then you can apply the network effects from there. So yes, you could say I'm a little excited for the future. And I think that Ripple, the company, will still be here. And that is just my personal opinion, guys. None of this is financial advice. Please, please just use this as a tool to, decide and develop your own research as well and come up with your own decisions. Right here, we have James Rule XRP showing the Davos 2021 schedule. Thank you for sending this to me, sir. We can just kind of speed through here. Resetting digital currencies. You guys can watch this. So this is occurring January 25th. You can see at the time. Next up, we went over Ripple. And then right here, building net zero cities. If you guys have not already, please go look into it. XRP Ledger Foundation and Energy Web Token. Go read about it. Look at the integrations between these assets, working to complement one another. And that is how I see Flare Networks as well. And specifically, another money-making opportunity later in 2021 for us all to be proactive rather than reactive. Yes, so I'm a long-term holder. As you guys know, I also have a portfolio I trade to accumulate when I can. Now, some people, get upset. Oh no, you only got a 20% profit, you could add 50. Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's just not how my mind operates. I'm here with my long-term holdings. They're up in a massive way. I'm happy with that. And I'm looking to grow my fiat, my US dollar bag in the meantime and be proactive. People can complain about missed opportunities, and I've had so many massive losses. I don't even bother to tell people anymore because they won't get it. They're going to have to start that. Like if they're new to the crypto market the past 2 years, they're going to have to go through those losses or those experiences and miss and have FOMO. And I have empathy for it, but at the same time, I've almost grown numb to complaining or whining about missing opportunities because I just see it on a daily basis. And I guess, it's just part of it's part of the course. You got to get the battle scar and keep going. So just wanted to share that. And I think that's really it for this video, guys. I'm going to try to speed through some other points because there's a bunch a bunch to go over in the next video as well. So be sure to tune in. I'm excited to cover that as well. And just remember, stay positive, stay focused, and pay attention to Flare Networks and a lot of the other DeFi assets. If you've noticed, DOT, Polkadot, a lot of the altcoins on that ecosystem. And of course, some are building on Ethereum and other DeFi projects. They have been exploding left and right. And as you guys know, I am a big fan of Kava as well, as I believe David Schwartz is a fan of Kava, CTO of Ripple, because he's the one that really got me to look at it after I saw his commentary. We know the Cosmos platform, of course, the SDK is connected with them. Chainlink's essentially integrated with almost everybody for Oracle, so that isn't any news. Just a plethora of assets to look at. So please do not be fooled. I talk about XRP. I research XRP religiously, but I hold a lot of assets and I'm paying attention to which connections and which assets will complement one another. Exchanges that have vested interests in certain assets. And I've been there. I've done swing trades where you're stuck holding a few weeks. People give up and get out. But I'm telling you, if you held just a few weeks longer and then boom, it pops. Everything is an algorithm. There's just a lot going on in this ecosystem, guys. Machine learning, AI trading bots. I encourage you guys to just keep looking into everything. Have an open mind. Remember to entertain every idea without fully accepting it. I'll see you in the next video.